You sort of cut your teeth in Seattle, right? This is where you started.
Yeah.
And like, how did you progress to getting to that point where you were like working on the road like that?
That's a good question. I mean, I don't really know. I think and my biggest advice to younger comics is always to just be professional and be nice, because you never know who can help you or is, later going to be more famous than you or whatever. Use people is what I'm saying. No, it just started off, I was just doing, the open mics, and then you start getting booked on showcases and stuff around here. And then I would end up working with some of the headliners that are here. And do you want to come with me to Oregon and do some stuff? Do you want to come to Montana? Do you want to? Yeah, I do. And then you just started saying yes to those things, even if it was at the beginning, just doing a guest set or something. Then, started kind of featuring pretty consistently with some of the road guys from here. And then just decided that I could do a tour kind of on my own. I mean, that was probably, I think I was like 4 years in, or maybe 5 years. And me and Mike left and did a tour, a 3-month tour that was like the whole country except for the Northeast.
What, were you guys in like a van or something, or what?
Kia Soul. Edith.
Were you, wait, her name was Edith?
Yeah, her name's Edith.
That's great. Were you doing hotels? Were you sleeping in the fucking Soul?
I mean, no, we didn't sleep in the car. I don't think ever, but I think we only stayed at like 3 hotels in the 3 months. And we just stayed at other comics' houses, people like our family members that we knew on the road, where if they lived in other places. I mean, it really was a learning experience as far as having to figure out how to pretty much break even, or, I made some money. Mike likes fast food more than I do. So that was a problem for him. But, I think like the way I book stuff now, my ability to just go and do shows and make it work, I think came from that. And there's such naivety is the biggest like asset when you first start stand-up, because there's so many things that hypothetically you shouldn't do that you do anyways. And you're like, whoa, I can't believe I did that. But that actually helped a lot, And I think that was one of those things. Not that we shouldn't, stand-up wise, we were great, but nobody fucking knew who we were, So we had to go, we couldn't put our own shows on. So we had to find these like one-nighter rooms that we could convince them through other people or whatever. It took me a long time to book that tour, but met a ton of people and just, and we're doing some side room at a bar in Memphis for $60 on a Friday, and just hoping for the best. But it was so fun. I would like, even probably poorly planned, I would do it again, I think I book things and am not afraid to go and do a lot of stuff because we did that.
So how did you even get the ball rolling on a lot of that shit? Because
it was originally supposed to be 3 of us. And then I don't even remember why Mitch decided not to go with us. And I don't even know. I asked, it's pretty common that people have done it. I know it's more common now that people are like, oh, just book my own stuff. But there was people who just did the road all the time and knew these random rooms. And so I would reach out to them, a couple of kind of local guys or whatever that had done it, and just say, do you know anybody in this area? How did you do this? Whatever. Spreadsheets. You message. Did they say anything? No, yes. We didn't check in. Dates, and then I had a map up like all the time trying to figure out what the smartest, like we'll be in this area during this time. So, cause we kind of went over like Spokane, Idaho, Montana, down Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, then across the bottom, like through Texas, and then Georgia, Florida, like just stuff like that. And then Tennessee, and then came back through the bottom all the way to San Diego, at Phoenix, and then San Diego, and then went up the West Coast back.
Yeah.
And Portland the night before. And then we got back here. So it was, I mean, and hypothetically, you're like, yeah, there was much better ways to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
But we did it, and it was fun. And yeah, I mean, I know people in Cincinnati and the most random Pensacola, you know, like just the most random places, Kingsport, Tennessee, that I would have never gone to on purpose, you know, before. And now it's actually proven pretty helpful now booking stuff, you know.
For sure. And were you like, how far along? You were 4 years in. So like, how much time did you have built up to do that? Like real time.
Yeah. I think for the most part, we would both do 30, you know. But yeah, I wouldn't say at that point I was like, yeah, I could do. I mean, I had done 45, but it was one of those other things that you're like, you shouldn't have said yes to that. But you did it anyways, you know, just to see. And I always tell people that. Like, if somebody wants to give you 45 minutes and pay you, just do it. You'll be fine. Just do it. And Mike and I joke about it because his first feature weekend was at Joker's, and he just said yes, you know, and he was probably like 2 years in. Mm-hmm. And he had 15 minutes. And so he was doing 30, and he wrote his set list. And then for the other 15, he just wrote crowd work for 15 minutes. Like, he wrote it down. But you just make it work, and you learn, and I don't know if it's as possible now as it was then, you know, because that would have been like 6 years ago. But just see what happens. I think we get really caught up on being like, what if I'm wrong? What if this doesn't work out? And it's like, who fucking cares? Then do something else. You know, like, just keep trying stuff and seeing what happens. And then for the most part, it won't work. And everyone says that about LA. They're like, oh, you come to LA and then you collect no's. You gotta collect your no's because you're going to get 9 before you get the 10th yes. And so it's the same with everything else, though. Just try and see what happens. Yeah. It's not going to work the first time, so just keep trying shit.
It at least sound more fun, too, though. Like, if you're going to collect no's, you may as well do it with friends and have a good time with it. Like,
yeah.
That, I mean, there's just, I guess it leans into this thing, like, there is a lot of negativity in this, whatever you want to call, realm or space or whatever. Yeah. And for me, like, it's a lot better when I'm around people that aren't that way. Because, you're going to get shit on. You're going to have bad experiences, and you're going to hear those no's. And being around people that, like, don't let that weigh them down helps a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot of people that, like, use that as an excuse to just be bitter all the time. Mm-hmm. And it's fucking exhausting.
Well, it is. And then you can just, like, their energy in general is shifted at all times. And you're like, you're bringing everybody else down with your negativity here.
It doesn't help the weather here, and, like, just fucking.
Well, and everybody complains about that, which is funny because that became very apparent to me that I need the weather like this to kind of function properly. And people do that all the time where they're like, well, I got to get out of here. I got to go someplace sunny so that I'm happy. And I'm like, that's not the reason you're not. If that's the final thing that's going to keep you from being depressed, is the weather, then you really need to look at what else is going on. Because you can go and be depressed in the sun if you'd like to, but it's not going to. It's
a really sad thing to be depressed in the sun. Like, you just like, you're really fucking depressed if you are.
That's what LA is like. No, but that was a huge, like, I just didn't really work very efficiently there. And the sun, because I am from here, it always feels like vacation. So there's a little less sense of urgency, a little bit, I think.
Amy Miller, she told me, she's like, it's easy to just spend a year in LA not doing anything.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
it's so easy to not do anything there.
I don't think that's like, I think you need some kind of, like, uncomfortability or, like, friction or, like, I think this area is, with the exception of, like, the 2-3 months in the summertime, like, it's a good creative space.
Yeah, absolutely. People get confused by that, but I have, like, when it's raining, that's, like, my favorite. I just feel different. Like, this time of year always feels like the reset for me. It's not, New Year's Eve or whatever. Like, it's always kind of when school starts. Like, I feel this, like okay, summer's done.
We have a fall before it just shifts aggressively.
And then I'm like, this, we're starting. I guess refocus is like the fall for me, and it's because it shifts. The weather shifts.
I just make the waves, I don't write them. I can hear the lyrics in in my spirit as I write them. Why you wanna walk and talk just like them? I can't get caught up in all the hype and the excitement. I just make the waves, I don't write them. I can hear the lyrics in my spirit as I write them. Why you wanna walk and talk just like them? I can't get caught